Well, welcome to Conversations with Cubit. I am super excited again tonight about the conversation you're about to hear. Remember, you need to share this, start a watch party, do whatever you have to do. But as you know, I only have 3 simple goals for these conversations every week. 1 is to add value to my community. 2, I want to inspire you to believe in what people can become. And 3, I just love people and you should too. And all that means is that I want you to get information and be inspired by the information and the resources you hear today by some amazing individuals, groups, and organizations. Every conversation will be about information, inspiration, and hope. And today is a pretty special day. And I'm beyond honored to have the opportunity to highlight these amazing folks. If you've been keeping up with me in these weekly conversations, then you have seen me broadcast in my kitchen, my living room, and in a little dinky office in the back of my house. And all of it was with bad sound, with bad picture, other technical issues. But lately you've seen a little cleaner look and sound. And that's in part because of Green Pasture Studios. Green Pasture Studios sits on a 12-acre campus located just east of downtown Oklahoma City in Spencer, Oklahoma. I remember it as an elementary school. But currently, this space includes a 5,500 square foot soundstage with 27-foot ceiling, 3,000 square foot soundstage that even includes a green screen. The building has standing stages with a police station, a hospital, school, interior of a house, you name it, they got it here. I firmly believe that this place will add value to our community. And here tonight to tell us all about it is Richard and Amy James. Richard is an entertainment entrepreneur, film producer, author who makes a name for himself building celebrity brands and exploring the pursuit of passion, purpose, and authenticity. He is the chairman of OFTA and one of America's leading film and TV training programs located right here in Oklahoma. His wife, Amy, is an Emmy award-winning documentary series editor and an award-winning feature documentary producer. Her works includes names like Dr. Maya Angelou and even HBO. Amy runs the Oklahoma Film Television Academy, OFTA, which is actively training workforce for the state of Oklahoma. Amy loves storytelling and uses her storytelling skills to create content for brands, studios, and celebrities in this digital space. Amy serves on the board of the Generation Citizens promoting civics in Oklahoma schools. And I could go on and on and on about the credentials of these fine people and co-owners of Green Pasture Studios. But let's just stop right there and let me just say, welcome to Conversations with Cubit.
Thank you. Hello.
I just want to say that we are really lucky today.
Yes.
Because we realized what was going on. We managed to run out. And before she could escape,
That's me.
get Melanie Garneau. And just to give you a quick brief update about Melanie Garneau, is she's awesome. And she's not only awesome because she's our business partner in what we're doing here, but this lady, for a living, used to jump out of helicopters to save downed pilots for the
Air Force.
Yeah,
watch yourself.
if they're helicopters, it's Air Force. And a
Welcome
long-time
to the
Oklahoman.
show.
Well, thank you.
Okay,
We're so
let me
lucky we
rewind.
could grab her.
And also, we have
Yes,
live
it's
on the
okay.
show today a lady who's crazy enough to jump out of a helicopter.
That's
I love that!
That's the only
Thank you. That's I'll be known for that forevermore. Thank you.
That was a very last-minute introduction,
yeah,
so
well,
awesome.
And one of the important things too, besides jumping out of the plane, is that Melody helicopter.
Thank you.
Yes. Besides the helicopters, Melody has been working in this film industry for many, many, many years. She owned the Paramount building for a while, and then right when we came, she was working intensely to make sure Lieutenant Governor Pinnell understood the importance of the film industry in Oklahoma. I'll let you talk a little bit more about what you did to be able to elevate film here, but the reason we're able to do what we're doing here is quite honestly because of the work Melody and other amazing filmmakers, but a lot Melody did to set the stage for us, literally.
Well, thanks for being here.
Yeah, we grabbed
Thanks
her.
for doing this.
My pleasure.
Thanks for allowing me in this space for the last several weeks. And I'm planning, and I got all kinds of.
We got all
plans for
sorts
this.
of stuff
I got all
going
kinds
on.
of stuff
Yes.
going on for this space.
Yes, we're planning.
But I got to ask you, Richard, you talk funny.
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, so I just want to shoot you straight. You don't sound like you from around these here parts.
These here parts?
Right.
No.
Tell me where you're from and give me those stories.
Southeast of Oklahoma, there's a small little town where we all sound like this. It's bizarre. I realise that you may not buy that. You drive past it, you miss it. No, so I'm English, not Australian or South African, as many people might say. But I've lived in America now for
17 years?
17 years. And weirdly enough, having traveled all across America, Oklahoma is the closest place that I felt like was home, with the gentle rolling hills. Only we get a lot more sun. So I think this is a big plus, a big
Sort of an
plus.
understatement.
Right, right. So you're not originally, Amy, tell me, how in the world do filmmakers end up in Oklahoma?
Looking for
What's the
home.
story?
Yeah, looking for home. I mean, that is really the story. I moved to Los Angeles in 2001. It was
Where are you originally from?
See, original. I was born in Tennessee, lived in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Colorado.
She was always on the run.
My parents, we never, I mean,
Gypsies
seriously,
are workers for
I never had a
Yeah.
home. Like, I literally never had a home. My parents moved us around so much, and I bounced from place to place. I never felt like I was home. I lived in Los Angeles for 18 years, but I promise you that is not my home. I went there because it was the only graduate school I got into.
Okay.
And so I showed up, met this handsome man, ended up having children. Because there are no seasons, it went from 2001 to 2018, like that, a
Ain't that
blink
how
of
it
an eye.
goes? Ain't that how it goes?
And I was going crazy. I mean, literally going nuts there in the concrete jungle. I couldn't, it wasn't my heart. We looked every single city you can possibly think of, from Portland to Austin to Sacramento to San Diego, Denver, to try to find where we could call home, a place to raise children, a place with great people. And we happened to come here on the tail end of a spring break trip. And only one person we knew. She invited us to the farm in Jones. And that was April of 2018. All four of us. One of the things was that the kids had to agree with the location we were going to go. Mm-hmm. All four of us fell in love. That was April. We moved in July of 2018.
So Jones, Oklahoma did the trick.
Jones, Oklahoma. Jones, by God, Oklahoma.
Who knew?
By God.
Yeah, you know,
Right.
it was a mixture of things, though. We came out to Jones, we were on this farm, and we said, this is amazing. But all I know about Oklahoma is the musical. That was it.
That's really
right?
it.
And so I was sort of, what's the city like? So we went to the city, and I was sort of, my goodness, these
A whole
restaurants
15-minute
are great.
drive.
I know.
No traffic.
No traffic. The only time we got stuck in traffic
Truth.
was when they were building the trolley car system. And we were sort of, why are they building a trolley car system? There's no traffic to warrant this. But then, but having said that, when we actually thought about it, we thought about the cities that we'd visited. We thought about Portland, we thought about Austin, and we thought about these heavily congested cities that if 15, 20 years ago,
Had thought about
they
this.
had the foresight to put a tram system in, a trolley system in, those cities would have been so different.
Even LA.
You need to do the homework on Are you from Oklahoma?
I've been here a very long time.
Okay.
Longer
Not long
than
enough-
he's been
yeah,
alive.
Not
I
long
think.
enough to know that we had a trolley car system.
Long,
Yes.
long
time
ago.
ago.
Yeah.
Before
The
me.
forethought, right?
Yeah.
And I
And
think
then took it up.
That was one of the things that when we sat down and looked at it and said, golly, are we willing to bring our family to a state that we know next to nothing about and take this, in a way, risk? When we looked at everything that had gone on, when we looked at the quality of life that we could have here, but more important than that, it was the people. It was this wide open arm that said, hey, let's chat. We were in, there's a little cafe in Jones, and we were sitting there having our grits and
The
whatever
Red
it is.
Rooster.
The Red Rooster. And this little old lady with a little walker was coming out of the door. And she was going very slow. And there's another elderly gentleman who'd just gone to go and was opening the door. And he said, no, come on through. In an Oklahoman accent, not in an English accent. of course.
Yeah.
And she said, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm going slow. And he said, ma'am, if I was in a hurry, I wouldn't live in Jones.
And we were like, damn.
This is
This
where we
is
want to
where we
raise
need
our
to be.
kids. This is it.
Right. I appreciate that. So tell me, how did you trip upon Jones and these people and your filmmaking crash with their passion for filmmaking?
Yeah, so it wasn't Jones. Jones did not do it for me.
I'm sure.
It was
sure.
an online dating service, to be honest. So I knew.
Let's
folks-
just be clear, it wasn't. Okay, let's just be
Definitely
clear.
was not. not.
It's live. We're not editing.
Oh no. So I was in the Air Force, and then when I got out of the Air Force, I decided to stay in Oklahoma because I really did enjoy Oklahoma. There's a lot more to it than people think. Although Jones was about this big, and I don't think they had more than one restaurant at the time, but I don't even know if they do now. But I had a connection with the film and music office, and they were looking for a soundstage because a show, I think it was American Gods, wanted to come here, and they had nothing. They had no place to put them. And so they were in fear of losing the show. And they happened by at the Paramount where I had my theater and restaurant. And I said, well, we should just build one. Let's just build one right here. Thinking, well, it can't be that hard. It's just a building. It turned out to be harder than I thought, and a little dragging people along. And it just wasn't clicking until I met these two folks who had as much passion to do it as I did, although my background is not in the film business. Theirs is, thank God. And after that, it was just magical. They're both brilliant people, filmmakers, and Richard has the forethought all the time to come up with plans, although he sends us all into fits many times because they change so frequently when he gets the next brilliant idea.
Yes, yeah.
But
I can tell you, as we planned this conversation just prior to, they said there's no way that we're having this conversation without this lady because she is the foundation to everything that's happening here. And we're going to talk about everything that's happening
that's
here.
very nice of you guys.
So thank you for being that person, that inspirational seed of hope that everybody needs in their life. And so I can already tell you're that for them.
Well,
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
great. They are for
100%.
me as well. So
Right.
thank you.
All right, this place is massive.
Yeah, it's pretty
This
big.
place is massive. Right now, I think we're in the big one.
Yeah.
And there's those little baby one over there. This big one is like 5,500 square foot. The ceiling is way up there. The sound is incredible in here. There's been a whole lot of construction since the last time I was here. This was an elementary school the last time I was here. Why?
Why? Okay, so there's two answers to this question, right? Why a film studio in Oklahoma?
One,
The other one is, why on earth an elementary school in Spencer?
two, and then three. Yeah, Spencer.
Spencer. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's deal. Why don't I take the why a studio first, and then perhaps we can move down the line. Why a studio? So let's look at opportunity, right? If you look at what's going on with everyone consuming content at the moment, what are we doing more of? Well, we're doing more of streaming, right? We're doing more of Netflix, Disney Plus, all these streaming platforms are coming out. Because these streaming platforms are coming online, they need more and more content. So what that means is that you have Paramount Plus, which just launched, which instead of making a certain number of shows for CBS a year, they're having to double it, to triple it. So you've got a moment in time that I believe is as exciting as when Chaplin came across California and said, my goodness, let's make entertainment. And this is a global phenomenon that's happening. So not only were there more productions being made, but then this dastardly thing called COVID comes along, and what do we all do more of? We sit at home and we watch TV, we watch entertainment. And the more entertainment that we watch, the more now they have to make. So we're in a situation where financiers and distributors of content have got to make so much more content that they can't make it all in LA, they can't make it in New York, they can't make it all in Chicago or Atlanta, which is another big hub. So they're looking at other places. So what we realized was that Oklahoma has a real opportunity to capture essentially billions of dollars worth of investment and diversify its income from some of the reliance that we have on oil and gas and airline, which when we've looked at what's happened with COVID, those are two industries that suffered when entertainment has boomed, because traditionally in a recession, entertainment goes berserk. So together with Melanie, we took the Lieutenant Governor out to Los Angeles, we met with all the studios, and the studios said, yeah, you know what? Oklahoma could be great. We've been so fortunate that we've had legislators who've been able to see that the film industry could be a really big boom to Oklahoma for many years. Now's the time, and we're just about to see it this week, that we're doubling down on that to say, look, there are a ton of jobs that are going to make a massive difference. So why a studio? Because a film studio is the epicenter of any film and television industry, because so much has to be shot inside a studio because it protects you from the weather, it protects you from the sound. And when you look at Spencer, we're away from any trains, we're away from any planes. The only sound that I hear occasionally when I'm out on the phone.
Donkey.
It's the donkey.
We're going to get a donkey.
I love that donkey.
I shouldn't have brought up the donkey.
We are.
You two
We're going to
so
get a
adamant.
donkey.
We're getting a donkey and goats.
And a goat.
So the advantage of Oklahoma now having a soundstage, and we have this soundstage, and there are others being built in the state, is that it puts us on a level playing field with the Los Angeles and places like that, so that filmmakers can come here and say, I'm going to build part on the set, and then I'm going to go out all across Oklahoma, because we've got such a diverse landscape here that you can shoot so much that I can capture everything that I then need. So that's why we're building a studio. Why here in Spencer? How did that come about? I'm going to pass you over to Amy.
Well, I think it was fate, it was God, it was everything that you can think of put us here when we knew we've been dreaming about Filmmakers Ranch since we first met, our very first date. Mel's been dreaming about something very similar, two separate places, right? And then as we came together, we had the opportunity, we started looking for infrastructure. How do we build something? The dream we always had was it's a community-based Filmmakers Ranch, meaning we are here to support the community of filmmakers in being able to offer standing sets so that they can afford it, being able to offer classes so that they can learn how to do the craft, right? And so Spencer, you are familiar with the greater, what is it called, the classes that put the schools together?
Pathway to
Greatness.
Oh, Pathways to Greatness.
Yes, and
Yes,
so
we all know about Pathways.
yes, and so I know there's not a lot of great feeling about that. And what happened is a good dear friend of ours, Harry Wallahan, was at a dinner, and it was brought to his attention that there is this elementary school that's sitting out in Spencer, and Richard and I and Melody came and were like, this is it. And why is Spencer a dream? We have a dedicated community that is looking for something. We have underrepresented voices that have now a place to be heard. We have people who have gone to elementary school here who are coming back to learn how to tell story, how to work in the industry. It was like there couldn't have been a better place on earth, as far as I'm concerned, than landing in the middle of Spencer, Oklahoma. We're looking for community. The community is looking for a place to gather, and it's...
So it was not the film, it wasn't, you moved here before you knew about.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so a lot of the
We
work
moved
had
here
been
for
done.
quality of life.
Yeah.
We have I'm sorry, but we have
Advertising.
thank
agency.
you, in Los Angeles and Dallas, and that can be going anywhere. So we were looking for a place that we could just raise children comfortably.
And I figured I'd commute to our office in Los Angeles and our office in Dallas, and very quickly we realized, my goodness, we don't have to do that. We can actually be part of, and I say part of because there are a lot of people involved in building this industry here, part of a movement to create a fantastic industry. And when we initially walked through this school and we saw it being shut down, and we heard some stories from some of the local people talking about how this was a heartbeat of the community. And we walked into this brand new soundstage, this brand new gymnasium as it was then. We realized that this can still maintain the heartbeat of the community, and we can bring a major industry to essentially northeast Oklahoma City
Spencer.
and make a massive difference.
You know, in this part of town, of course, I've lived here for 40 years, so I know Northeast, and as you get this way, has always been in some way overlooked, or they get something and then it's taken away. And so we tried, not necessarily Spencer, but to move away from downtown and not go where everybody else was going, which was north, right, toward Edmond, or where all the new places that they're building up to. And so we wanted it, and this is a small community, close to a big city, but a small community of folks who the jobs that they have fit perfectly into the movie business. Most jobs do, right? So if they have lost the job because of the oil business at the time, it's gone wherever, they can translate those to jobs on movie sets, all kinds of jobs, driving,
What did they
electricians,
say
whatever.
to you, Melody? What happened when you said he sounds like he's excited about the sun going down 2 minutes later tomorrow morning or tomorrow night. What did he say that says Pathways to Greatness, huge school? What did he say to you? What was the moment when you said, I'm inspired to get involved in this?
I'm not sure because, as Amy pointed out, before I met them, I was trying to build one anyway and get some interest in it. I even looked at the armory down by the Capitol and stuff, which turned out I'm so happy we didn't get stuck with, but because that would have been awful. But so I'm not sure. I'm sure it was both of their. They're very friendly people, and they're very. Hey, you can do this.
We can
It's
do
okay.
this.
We can go. You can go to the moon. Sure, let's do that.
Right,
okay,
right.
so here's the thing. To answer that question, it was actually the opposite. So, as you can tell, Amy and I were very positive. We're sort of let's go and do things, and it tends to be that we're sort of, especially on my side, a bit more perhaps
Dreamers.
Let's just do it. Let's just do it. But we met Mel, who was, no, we're going to do it now.
And push.
Okay.
Right.
And so Mel, and you talk to anyone who's involved in the industry out here who has anything to do with her, she has just constantly said, okay, you want to do something, but what's the step to do it? And we're going to do that today. And so I think the reason why we ended up here wasn't that we persuaded her, it's that suddenly I looked at her one day across the table and said, oh my goodness, we've just put an offer in to buy a school. What have you got us into?
Right.
Yeah, my fault.
And so I think it was actually a coming together. And there are a lot of other people who could be sitting up here as well. When you look at what the Dead Center has done, what you look at what's been going on
Metro
in
Tech,
Tulsa,
OCCC, a whole.
There's a lot of people who've been involved in this who've been wanting this to come together. It just so happened that the three of us were in a position where financially we could put that bid in to actually secure the venue so we could create that community.
Fantastic. I love it. And there's so much of that I need to be connected to, like that energy to get up and finish and do. Because I'm like a lot of people. I have a lot of, man, I ought to, we should do, somebody ought to, but you guys don't play that game. Like,
Not much.
go get it.
Yeah.
Go get it. And
What
I
have
know
you
a
got
bunch
to
of kids.
lose, right?
Yeah, that's always what people come back to. What do you got to lose?
So here, just a slight side thing.
Money.
13 years
Money,
ago.
time.
So here's the
Money's
thing.
fair.
13 years ago, it was the writer's strike in LA. I was out of work. Amy was out of work. And on our apartment door, someone pinned an eviction notice because they were selling the building. When you've got two people and
With
who've
two
got
kids,
two kids
one
who
and
are
three.
out of work, no one is renting you a home in LA. So we, through the wonderful generosity of close friends and some friends who weren't that close who just met us, said, come and sleep on our couches, right? None of these big homes you have out in Oklahoma, they're all tiny, right? Under 1,000 square foot. So for 3 months, we couch surfed and didn't have a house to live in. We didn't have a penny to rub together. And as hard as that was, it was one of the most amazing times for us as a family. Mm-hmm. And if that's the worst that can happen if something goes wrong, is that you still have your family and you have friends around you who'll come out and support and you're able to get back on your feet, then why not shoot for the moon?
Can you tell he worked for Disney? There was no.
I don't know if that was Disney or the church down the street, brother.
Yeah.
You just got most of the time, what holds people back is themselves and their own fear of what could happen if it goes wrong. And I've seen what can happen if it goes wrong, and we were able to rebuild, and it's been phenomenal.
That sounds like a whole nother podcast. All right.
It's a whole nother
We're gonna.
Yep.
All right. So, Filmmakers Ranch
Yep.
is what I've heard you refer to this as, a filmmakers ranch. What kind of people and what's going on? What kind of people are you going to attract here? I never even thought about the film industry growing up. I probably didn't even think about the film industry till I stepped in here about a month ago. Tell me what type of people will be interested in this place and how you get them interested in this place if they're not already interested in this place.
I think the stories that we are most interested in telling are the underdogs. So that is also already the type of people that we're attracting to this. So again, underrepresented voices, the underdogs in the game, the stories that haven't been heard. Look, like you go to Hollywood, you can play that game, you can try to do all of that, but if you come here, it's a filmmaker's ranch. We've talked to Cam about the tiny homes we're going to be building so that you can come and you can stay in the facility, and we'll have writers on staff, we'll have editors on staff. There will be people here to support you. It's a lot like, I think we always keep saying, the 1950s studio system. So it's the filmmaker that is looking to be in control of their story, you know, have the access. And for us, it's really the underrepresented voices.
Absolutely.
We're in Oklahoma. How often do we have Oklahomans telling Oklahoma's stories in Hollywood?
And here's the thing: when you look at the filmmakers, and it's the filmmakers' ranch, right? Filmmakers aren't just directors
That's right.
and writers and producers. In
That's
fact,
right.
that's only a tiny percentage. The filmmakers are actually the accountants, the electricians, we've got a welder starting, I think, in a couple of weeks. It's the chefs, it's the drivers, it's the painters, it's the plasterers. When you look at everyone that goes into making a movie, I urge you, if you're interested in the film industry, the next movie you watch, sit down and look at the whole end credits and see all those names and some of those
are the
crazy
filmmakers.
titles like Best Boy and Gaffer, and they're all people who are earning a great, great living making entertainment. And people can earn a living now. There's a chap I just heard, great guy, ex-military. He texted me the other day. He said, guess how much I'm earning a day tomorrow? I said, go on then. He said, I'm earning $1,000 tomorrow on a film set. $1,000. He went through our course 7 months ago.
Less than that, yeah.
We have another young lady who worked in a bar, and she was working in a bar for 15 years. And she came back recently and said, hey, I'm earning $400 a day now on set. $400 a day. And she graduated 6 months ago. The thing about the film industry is that because you're going from job to job, like you do in the construction industry a bit, what we tend not to do is sit down and go, okay, have you got a criminal record? What is your job history like? Are there any gaps in your resume?
Does not matter.
Have you graduated high school? All of that doesn't matter. Because what we're interested in is, can you get down and do the work?
Can you show up on time? Can you be good people? Can you participate in everything that's happening here?
Can you follow directions?
Follow directions, follow
Can you
directions.
follow through?
Follow
Yeah.
through. Everything
so-
and everybody wants to be given a chance when they mess up, right?
Yeah.
Like we all, mess up, and then all the rules after you mess up. Not in the we're a bunch of misfits. Like we're a bunch of misfits who get to come together and play.
So what I
So
want
those
to
are the
make sure
filmmakers,
that is communicated is that whilst we're a filmmaker's ranch, you don't have to come here going, I've got a story to tell. You've got to come here saying, I am ready to get involved in telling a story, right? And I can
That's
make a
good.
big difference.
That's good. That's really good. So talk about the training.
The
Talk about
Oklahoma
the
Film and
training,
Television.
Because if you're saying, if I'm that person, because while you were talking, I honestly
wanna
was
talk about
thinking,
You
what
can
story
start,
do I
I'll
have to
jump in.
tell? But you just changed it for me. So I might have some other skill or something. So
Oh,
talk
absolutely.
about these other skills
Right.
and how you train people to do it.
So we have the Oklahoma Film and Television Academy, which was a necessary need in this state, because if we're going to be attracting all of these films, we're going to have to be able to fill the crew positions, and we can get into the details of the film rebates and such like that. But this is an opportunity for people, whatever your skill set is to come in and understand how to work on a set, to your point. So we have, our youngest students are 18. We just graduated a woman who was 70, who brought a totally different skill set to the table. They come and they join Richard, who teaches, and oftentimes we have Kim Mott, who also teaches. Spend 4 full days in this facility where they go over everything you need to know to step on a set as a production assistant, which is our
Is this classroom or is this actually hands-on?
both.
Yeah, there's a little bit of classroom, but the interesting thing is what we're not teaching you is how to move a camera
Nope.
or how to put up a light. What we're teaching you is how to come in as a support to those positions. So, for example, there's a position called the production assistant. And the production assistant, we probably have anywhere from 8 to, on a big show, 25, 30. And they can be doing simple things such as stopping people coming through the door, right? Which you're then learning about all the other roles. So it's all different types of people where you come in and you sit in this environment. We have a 100-page workbook that you start going through. And on that, you do 1 day of practical stuff, putting up stands, and the rest is all how do you support the filmmakers with paperwork, with how do you show up, what is the kit that you should buy to turn up, which quite frankly, most of it you've got in your house already. But any level can come in and pick that up.
And you know, right now I don't know how many films are filming in Oklahoma. Does anybody know? A lot,
No.
several this year already. You don't always hear about them. You hear about the great big giant ones. But there's probably how many people on that film? 900 on the Killers.
Oh,
Yeah.
a plus.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so the director and the camera and all those, just like this many people, the other 900 people are these folks that we're talking about that are right now out there as carpenters building whatever they're doing or roofing or whatever, and maybe they want something different, or maybe they left the military and they want to carry those skills over. Also wonderful, wonderful
love the military.
folks to have, veterans and so forth, such as myself. So there's so many things. I think Richard challenged people last time. Tell me something you wanted to do. It might have been you. And I bet I can tell you the job you could do.
Yeah, what have you been doing? What is your skill set? And I promise you I'll find you a job
I
in
think
the
that
film.
was you that said it,
Yeah, it
because
was.
she's always thinking like that. She's a thinker. That's just all there is.
One of the great things about Amy is that she has an ability to see magic in people. It's one of the things I fell in love with, is this ability to sit down and see where someone can really grow. And then Amy will make phone calls on behalf of that person. And I'm sure we'll bring someone in a moment.
Yes,
who
just
Yes.
Amy was sort of,
We have
she's
another
awesome.
guest.
We do.
Yes,
are.
right. So I love the idea that you believe in what people can become, which is one of the goals of our conversation, is to inspire other people to look at their neighbor and see just a little bit more of what they're presenting at the time and look at what they can become. And so that's what training is all about. That's what mentoring is all about, because you can't train and mentor somebody if you cannot believe that what the finished product or what they're becoming is going to look like. That's the hope, right? And so tell us, we have, I
Miss
know, I
Courtney.
talked to Courtney when she walked in, and I know one thing.
All right.
We have, she went to a great school.
Yes.
She got great training
Millwood.
early in life. Hello, Courtney.
Hi.
Welcome to Conversations with Cubit. Tell them what school you went to.
I am a Millwood Falcon, class of 1996.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. If you guys, probably that's the only school you ever hear about. Even, I mean, I know people probably talk about Star Spencer Bobcats and all that kind of stuff, but
That's where my
since
mom
you're out
went.
here, yeah, I know you talk about that. But they're really just kind of
They're just
compare
not
themselves
Millwood.
to Millwood. Yeah,
Copy.
they're comparing
There we
themselves
go.
to Millwood.
You set the standard, right?
That's exactly what we did. That's exactly what we did. So tell us about Courtney. How did you meet her, and then what happened? What is becoming? of her?
We were so blessed to meet Courtney. We were talking about this today. We started talking in March of 2020.
Right, pre-COVID.
This is right
Right
at COVID. Yeah.
as
Right
COVID.
as COVID was about to.
Yes, we were about to start open the doors and start classes, and COVID asked us to shut that down. So I think you came to us then in November.
Yes.
We were so blessed. The second Courtney walked into the room, she demands, and people will say this on her most recent set, she demands respect, but in such a beautifully kind, gorgeous manner that you're like, okay, I think Nitro is like, I saw her and I was like, I know I need to just step right in behind her. Whatever she says, I'm going to do that. And Courtney, you can tell a little bit more about your story, but went to Los Angeles, had the dream.
After the school?
No, first.
No, first.
Before the school.
After graduating college, I went to Los Angeles. But my full story is this school is where my mother actually went to elementary. So
Okay.
my grandmother has land literally right down the street on Post Road.
Okay.
I I'm so grateful for these two because, like she said, I went to Los Angeles, but before going to Los Angeles, after I graduated college, I started off in news. And so I was a camera operator at News 9 for about 3 or 4 months. And my godparents were getting married in Los Angeles. And so we went to the wedding, and my godmother said, leave her here. And I literally stayed from October to December, came back, packed up my car, and I left.
And move back.
I left to go to Los Angeles. And
Yeah.
I said, I'm not looking back. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do.
And when you said this, was it film, movies?
It was film. Well, my degree is technically broadcast production, so I
Okay.
started in news. But when I got to LA, I was like, oh, the Hollywood capital of the nation.
Okay.
Why not be here? So it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. My mother was like, well, just write. You've been writing your whole life, so just write. Just get you a computer, we'll get you a laptop, and you go to work. To date, I've written 4 projects.
Wow.
So after, I did what I was supposed to do in LA, I came back, and I actually worked and I still do, work in oil and gas.
Okay.
And like she said, when I met her, a friend of mine talked about this campus closing, and they were building a film school. I looked into it. And from the first conversation Amy and I had, it's just like this full circle moment is right here in my face because
Right where it started from.
Right
Grandma.
where grandmother,
Yes.
parents, my mom. My dad is from Memphis, Tennessee, but my mom, my aunts, I have an aunt that still lives down the street. My uncle still lives down the street. So this full circle moment is amazing, and I'm grateful. I'm a November grad, so I graduated with 10 people in my class.
Yeah.
They currently have 40 or 50 from
Yep.
the last class, but I was slate 3, and I graduated, and I'm actually working on my second project. Thanks to Miss Amy, she recommended me. I'm working on my second project, and I just graduated in November.
Tell me what type of work you're doing. Like,
So my first project, I came on as assistant director for a live stage play. And then the second project, we're just working on a scripted television show that
Mr. Apollo Woods.
okay.
So
okay.
we're doing a Black Eats project, and she has moved me into the UPM production position. So I'm working as the unit production manager.
Wait a minute.
Yes, sir.
Are you volunteering or are you getting paid?
I'm getting paid.
That's fascinating. That is absolutely
From
okay.
November
From November.
to May.
And so this is the point. The point is, yeah, if you want to go to LA, go to LA. Give it. Everybody deserves that opportunity. But if you want to really be in the industry right now, it's happening in Oklahoma, and it's an opportunity to come. And Miss Courtney is not like she is a diamond in a haystack.
Well, she's
I mean,
Millwood. She's special.
She's Millwood. She kept right. So you
yeah,
kept
right.
right.
You should be doing recruiting at Millwood.
Exactly.
Parking lot. Right.
And
yeah.
when she showed up, and was said, can we give you this responsibility? She said, yes, ma'am. What else can I do? And so we have been totally blessed. And here in Oklahoma, and I think you would agree, we really train folks, and she was trained to be in the production assistant. We train folks to step out into that role and kind of take a moment to look around and see where they want to go. But we have students who started as a production assistant who are now grips on Martin Scorsese's film.
Grips.
Grips is
So you're doing a grip, essentially anything that a light or a camera might go on. It could be one of these stands. It could be all of the scaffolding around a car because you're doing stunts. It could be a crane. That's the grips domain. So we've got grips working on these $200 million movies. You've got electricians working on these $200 million movies. You've got a TV show in Tulsa at the moment with Disney Plus where we've got people working in the AD department.
so you're seeing them springboard is really my point.
That's the thing I love.
Yes, exactly. You start with a foundation that we give you. We recognize your skills, not only us, the producers that they're working with recognize their skills, and they're able to build what otherwise would take people 10 years in LA suffering. Right now, there is a door that is wide open, and I need people to
gotta do is
understand.
step into it.
You step into that door. If this is what you want to do, you step into this door and
They
you watch
just
the elevator.
Watch
You
it
just go.
rise.
That's good. Okay. I want to know, how are you able to do it so fast? 2 weekends, that's 8 days,
36 hours.
36 hours. That's really, really fast. And then the second part of my question, which really doesn't have to do with the first, but I kind of think you can tackle them both. I know you can tackle them both. Is how do you do it so fast, and then where, as a community member, her relatives that live up and down the street, how do they fit into this story?
Great. It's intense.
Yeah, you can speak to it. It's a lot.
It's a lot of information. We sat down and we distilled, what do you really need to know to enter the industry as a production assistant? And let's move all the other stuff off of here. Because what we need you to do is go in as an entry-level employee who rocks it. And if you're able to hit that ground running, where you know the walkie-talkie lingo, right? Where you understand how to fill out a SAG Exhibit G form, where you know basic union rules if you've got union actors, where you understand the basis of how a unit base, where all the trailers work. If you come in to do that, and you do really well, you will be seen and plucked out to rise up the ranks quickly. And then you will learn the rest of the stuff.
Am I getting a grade, or am I just pass, fail, finish, no finish?
Certificate.
We got a certificate.
You get
I
a
picked
certificate.
mine up last Friday.
Right.
Here's the thing though, you go through when you apply, you'll chat with Gabriela David, who's brilliant here at the Oklahoma Film and TV Academy. And she'll talk to you and she'll tell you, listen, this is a great job. It can also be a hard job. It can be long hours. You can spend all day out in the cold or in the heat, depending on the time of year. And she will be honest with you about what this is going to be like. If then you still say, I want to do it, and you come in here, we know that you'll be able to work. And as long as you finish the course, we'll be able to find stuff for you to do. Because there's so much need right at the moment.
And that's something to remember. And as we're looking, because something that we should bring up and discuss today is the SB 608, which is the new bill that's going through the legislation.
bill.
Yep, Senate Bill
We
608.
talked about legislature on this show a little bit. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So to understand, what we are doing is we are helping folks who are interested in a new industry to fill that market. There are hundreds of jobs on each show that need to be filled, and I think we've graduated 300 folks so
Yep.
far, 320 some folks through Oklahoma Film, that all are set up to walk directly into the industry. And as we're looking to, and grateful for all the legislators that are very positive about helping support this industry, we recognize that this could really change the face of Oklahoma's stability. We're not going to be riding, anymore up and down on oil. We're going to have a really nice, stable economic impact, which if you look at Atlanta or Georgia, it's $9 billion, that
And so
industry.
you're actually not just the small local person, but you're really trying to attract major film productions into the state that will be here for months at a time.
that are flooding their money into our state.
Yeah.
That money.
And if
What's
you-
stopping them? What's stopping them from bringing their people?
Great. Okay.
Question.
So
And not hiring me.
if you look at the way that the rebate is structured with the state, of which any industry, whether it's oil and gas, whatever industry that is, there are always incentives that the state puts out to attract business. Because they know that when you get that big business coming into the state, that means a lot of jobs, that means a lot of taxes, that means they're spending locally and everyone benefits. So when the state did their recent evaluation of the rebate, it found that for every dollar they put in, there's a $17 economic impact on the state. Well, I don't know about you, but if you said to me, hey, give me $1 and I'll give you $17 back, I'll put a lot of money down in that. So why are they going to be coming here rather than going to other states? And why are they going to be employing Oklahomans? Because the way the rebate works is that it only applies to money you spend in Oklahoma on Oklahoma below the line crew. Above the line, which is your producer, your director, actors, is slightly different. But the bulk of the employees on a film set, you only get that rebate if you employ Oklahomans. So if I'm a producer coming into town, and I look at yourself, and I look at someone else who's perhaps from New Mexico. New Mexico got a big industry that's growing up. I will want to employ you over this person any day because I'm getting a rebate on you. And so the state rewards, because the state understands that we want to see this industry grow. Give you another number on that. 2021, it's projected that there will be $100 million in job salaries in Oklahoma. That's from the Oklahoma Film and Music Office. $100 million. That's a huge amount of jobs and people being employed.
Okay, I'm back to the second part of my question. Amy,
Yes.
Courtney, what's it going to do to these neighbors?
Oh.
How are they just going to be looking at the next Walmart down there doing their thing? How
Absolutely not.
are they involved, and why do they care?
That absolutely not. Well, again, for me, it goes back to the storytelling. So we have created a platform, and this is what Courtney most recently worked on through Diversity and Impact Media Oklahoma, which is a nonprofit run by Ms. Tara Youngblood, that is encouraging community projects that will open our doors for community projects. So this particular one, we did a reading of a screenplay called Rodeo Girl, and we had local actors who had never acted never worked before, local to some professional actors, so they could have an understanding and opportunity to work together. We're obviously working with yourself on this,
Yeah.
and looking to encourage. We have a fashion show coming into town. Coming in here, we're going to be having a fashion show come in. It's a space. We also, I should say, during the freeze, and will always be an emergency shelter. That is, hands down, the most important thing that we can do to serve our community. We have a young gentleman who lives down the street who we found in the school when it was closed, but he had figured out a way to
Get inside.
This was the week
get
that we
inside.
bought it. So none of our big security cameras were on or anything like that.
Right.
We just bought it. And I came up middle of the night because I've forgotten something here and heard a noise. And I walked down the hallway and this shadow comes out of the wall and I panic. But I stand there and say, "You supposed to be here?" And he said, "Yeah, you supposed to be here?" And I could hear something in his voice that said, "That's not a grown man." And it was a 16-year-old lad with a basketball. And he'd been coming in here to play basketball. And I said, "Listen, don't worry, you're not in trouble. Show me how you got in so we can make sure we lock that door because we've only just got this property. But I tell you what I want you to do is I want you to go back to your friends and I want you, here's my number, to come up and we're going to give you a tour around because this is where you could be working when you graduate. Because the average income in the entertainment industry for crew is around about $100,000, $106,000 a year. And this could be your future."
And he wants to be, so he brought his best friend back who wants to do animation, but this little boy in particular wants to be an actor. And so we were able to get him a scholarship to John DeQuino's acting class that's
I
coming
didn't
from
know
Los
that.
Angeles. He does not have permission to join, but it's been offered to him to come up and participate
great.
in that. So the doors are open. If
Very
somebody
welcoming.
wants
They're
something,
very
we're going to
welcoming.
figure out a way for
To
them
make it happen.
to make it happen.
What I would say is that so much is going on so quickly. So what we're doing is we're setting up so that every Thursday,
Yes. Tours.
people can come through and do a tour and they can see everything that we're doing and we can talk about what we're doing. And you'll be able to go onto the website, I think, right? And you'll be able to book that tour or send us a message. But every Thursday, and I forget the time, it might be 2
Starting,
2 o'clock.
starting already?
Already.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can come and you can tour the facility, you can ask questions, we can talk about the opportunities that are available. We had a gentleman ride his horse up outside the school here,
That was so cool.
just as we started our first class. And I said, "Wow, what are you doing here?" And he said, "Look, I'm in oil and gas. I've been made redundant, and so that's." Do we use that phrase in
No,
America?
but he had lost his job.
Lost his job.
Say that.
Yeah,
Made redundant. It's
Made
not.
redundant.
Yeah,
yeah,
it
that's what
doesn't-
we say in England. When you lose your job, you're made redundant. You're redundant
okay.
from, which is a
I'll
horrible
let you get away
phrase.
with the other one. You said chap and something
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
I couldn't let
Did
that.
I?
Maybe.
Yeah, made redundant.
Okay.
Not doesn't make sense.
So he said, "Look, what are you doing here?" And I told him about the student, and he said, "That's great. That's so cool." I said, "Well, I tell you what. Why don't you come in and do the class?" So he came in, do the class 2 weekends, and then immediately he got onto a $30 million
Lionsgate.
movie.
Lionsgate. He was the first apprentice into Lionsgate New Diversity. They have a diversity program that they've just started for apprentices, and he was the very first hire for that.
How old a guy was this?
36.
36.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's like 36. I
Wow.
know him personally.
Oh, yes, you do,
I
don't
do.
you? Yes.
I won't put him out there, but I know him
Yeah,
personally.
he's a good guy.
That's good. I absolutely love all of this. What's next? Wait a minute. I got to ask. I saw on the website, and I have no clue where it is. I actually said, that's not true. It said there's a lake here somewhere, a pond.
We'll take you back there, but you got to look for ticks, man. If you like, we'll take you back there. It's all the way in the back
Oklahomans
corner.
are not scared of ticks.
No.
We don't.
What about
But-
snakes? Because
Yeah.
they really freak me out.
I don't mind
Now, those are a problem.
See, I don't
Those are a
mind
problem.
snakes, but those
Those are a
ticks,
problem.
man.
But there's a lake here, and that's part of filming, and that's part of,
It,
part of the package.
it will be, yes. Right now with the storm and trying to get through some of the trees has still been a little bit, it's not, the back 6 acres are not necessarily developed yet. I would
Right.
say.
You can't shoot in it just yet.
So
They're
you
not
got
very
to, I got to,
welcoming.
Yeah, not very
I got to
welcoming. And
speak
the
to a lot of the young people that I work with that have grown up are really into creating their own
Yes.
music content
Yep.
and videos.
Yes.
Speak to that.
Yes. Well, again, wide open. This is a location for
And
them.
I'm broke. I'm broke.
Well, that, again, so in this instance, it would be Diversity and Impact Media Oklahoma, DMOC, which is a nonprofit that will be set up to help all of their dreams come true. So if that's what you're interested in content creating, you're interested in building a talk show like this, that will be the place to, again, that's called the above the line, the directors, the actors, the, camera's below the line, but she will have a program set up for all of that. Then, it's a community-based theater, studio. Come talk to us. We'll figure it out.
Here's what I'd also say. You don't know what you don't know.
That's right.
Right? I got an opportunity a number of years ago. I directed a movie, I'd won an Emmy, and I got the opportunity to go and work as a background actor, which means you don't say anything. You sit in the background of
That's
a Coen
great.
Brothers movie.
Yep.
I spent 3 days earning $120 a day, sitting there as background, watching 2 great directors work, and I learned a ton. So, you come to me and you say, I don't have any money, but I want to be a director and I want to shoot music videos or what have you. I'll say, great. Tell you what, come and do the production assistant course,
Yeah.
because we're going to get you working in the industry. You could be working on a movie with Martin Scorsese, watching a
Learning.
master at work, learning what all the different lights are, learning about how the AD get the actors to do everything that you need them to do and be on set on time. And you can start earning good money. And guess what happens? You make sure that you don't go and spend that great money on nice restaurants and a flashy car and all that. You save that money, and then what we do is we'll team with you and we'll make sure you've got the equipment. Now, you have to pay a little bit for that equipment perhaps, but we'll find you the jobs to make sure that you're learning and you have the money, and we'll give you a phenomenal discount, because we want to support those voices,
And everything I need is here.
and everything you need
is
here.
here.
But we'll find you the work.
That's a great point,
So that you
Richard.
have it.
And that is the model. That really is the model. And but I'm thinking younger. His guys are under 18.
Well, no, I'm thinking.
Oh, you
I'm
think
never-
anybody?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm just younger than me. That could be
Yeah.
a whole lot of people.
Okay, fair.
Me
Right.
too.
Me too. Yeah,
Right,
fair,
that's
fair.
good. What's next? And then tell us how the next school is starting, when, and how we get involved, all the particulars, the details.
What's next, Mr. James?
Well, the next class starts this Saturday. So if anyone's interested in signing up, I think we've got 21 students
We
at the
may have a
moment.
few, you have to talk to Gabriella.
Maybe
but
got a
we
few
may
more
have to
today.
just-
So next class starts this Saturday. It's going to be 2 weekends running, which is super excited. It's here in the studio that we're sitting at the right at the moment. What is next? So we have a TV pilot that we are shooting in June. It's a TV pilot called Faculty Lounging. That'll be in, you mentioned it earlier, standing sets. So we've built a number of sets here at the studio that someone can come and rent, because it's very difficult to shoot in them normally, like a police station. It's
Or
very
a hospital.
difficult. Or a hospital.
Or a school.
Or a school, which was a very difficult one for us to make this look like a
Probably
school.
got that one down.
Yeah.
So this is all set in a school, and a TV pilot is essentially a half-hour proof of concept that we shoot. We then have a full crew, full cast. some names in that cast that you might recognize or seen on other shows, and then we take that out to try and get that placed with Netflix so that they pay for the rest of the show. So we have a number of those TV pilots are coming up. It looks like we also have a movie coming in here in July that's shooting they're building a massive set in here. I can't tell you what that set is, but it's going to look amazing. And that's a big crew on that. So we've got a lot of projects that are coming in here that are all going to need staffing. And so if anyone is interested in it and at the moment thinking, I know someone, or perhaps this could be me, think about, why should I not do this when the opportunity is in front of me? When there is work available that is a lot of fun and you can earn really good money? And reach out to us. And look, if you're thinking, can I afford it? Still reach out to us, because there are some interesting ways that we found scholarships to make sure that as many people as we can get in these courses, we get them in. So the future is really bright. And this week, the legislators will hopefully vote yes on the new rebate that will position Oklahoma film and television as one of the biggest industries and the highest growth industry that we have seen in years for Oklahoma.
I'm excited.
Well
You
said,
have
Mr.
sold
James.
me
Yeah.
on it. Now I'm thinking I need to get into class.
Yes,
I don't
sir.
know-
Yes.
I don't know what I would
Do
do yet.
Do it.
but
You don't have to worry
You don't
about
have to
that.
worry
I
about
don't,
it.
I don't know. I'm to the point now I don't like hard work, but I like to work hard, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So anyway.
The manual's
Thanks
laid
for
out
rolling
you.
out the
Yeah,
red
yeah, yeah.
carpet.
The manual's
for me.
laid out for
Yes,
you.
our
It's
pleasure.
right there.
Yeah.
Right. Thanks for rolling out the red carpet
yeah.
for me.
It's pretty good.
Not just tonight, but several nights and a few
Always.
more nights
Yeah,
to
our
come.
pleasure.
Listen, this is Conversation with Cubit. Let me tell you what's happening next week. I believe we're going to talk to some community influencers from Restore OKC.
Oh.
And you know that dead spot that before every live broadcast, that 5 or 10 minutes, whatever it is, that's starting soon. I don't know if you are like me, but that little, that space is really frustrating. So if you are an artist and you want to kick off a Conversations with Cubit, you need to reach out to me right now. If you know somebody that has talent, that is positive, that is informative, that is inspirational, that gives hope, that just needs the lights and the cameras, I am giving away that 5 to 8 minutes from
That's so
Green
cool.
Pasture Studios next week.
Yeah.
I want you to flood my inbox. If you are a rapper, spoken word, you play an instrument, you act, whatever it is you do that you need to put, you got 5 to 8 minutes with me next week.
Yeah.
Or the week after, or the week after. That now is going to be given away to the community because I want to highlight you because you bring information, inspiration, and hope. So that's tonight. That is Conversations with Cubit, and I'll see you again next Tuesday, 7:30. Thanks so much for Green Pasture Studios for
Our
hosting.
pleasure. This was great. Thank you so much.